Hi guys, it's Intuitive 144. I am a psychic medium along with being a physical medium. Okay, here's my business card if you're interested. Will it zoom in? Okay, $20 for a picture reading, $50 for a 30-minute reading, and $100 for an hour. The picture reading is going to be very brief, maybe 2 to 3 pages, but if you book me for a 30-minute reading, it's going to be more in depth. Okay, a lot of people feel like they're getting over, but you're not getting over. I'm keeping it very short with the picture reading. So, okay. Now let's get into Princess Diana. It took me about, no exaggeration, 7 days to fully connect with her energy, whatever sources that are around her. It's very weird to explain. I have some messages that I wrote down that I'm going to share. But if anybody, has booked me or wants to book me, I have to stare at you. So right now I'm going to stare at her, okay? Just to see what other messages come in. You know what? Spirit just said, start with the messages I already wrote down. All right, so and that's just my chair in the back. When I meditated on her energy, I actually laid down, and this is what they allowed me to see. They showed me an infant with a needle, okay, which was weird. I thought maybe Spirit was trying to say voodoo, hoodoo. I'm not really educated on voodoo or hoodoo, but I do know, you can, make stuffed dolls and like stick pins in them as a form of, I think, voodoo. And they X'd it out, like, to let me know, like, no, that's not what it means, okay? So then it transferred into a male. I'm gonna assume he was of like something with higher power, just because of the suit that he was wearing. It just felt like old rich royalty vibes, it felt like. And this masculine was looking over this infant, and he pointed at, Princess Diana. Well, she wasn't a princess at the time, but he pointed at Diana and said, I want her. Okay. And it was like a feminine energy came, and they just kept poking this infant with needles. So the following day, because I had fell asleep during my meditation session, the following day I asked if they can, help me understand what that meant. So I wrote down a painful domino effect. Okay, so and I wrote energetically chosen since birth. A painful domino effect. Sometimes you have to be the one that gets beat so that the next person, won't even be touched. It's very weird. It's very weird. It's kind of like not necessarily taking an ass whooping for your siblings, but let's say, your sibling can't really fight or defend themselves. It's more so of you just getting your ass beat instead of your sibling, okay? It feels like she stopped a lot of things from happening energetically because of what she had to endure, okay? So this reading is going to be a little bit all over the place because it feels like her life was all over the place, okay? So certain things I wrote down that I'm not going to speak on just yet. I'm going to try to go in chronological order, okay? So, okay, I'm just going to say it. So I wrote down the crash didn't exactly kill her. A foreign object was either inhaled or swallowed, which caused her to choke and die, okay? So, well, I don't want to say the crash didn't kill her. It was definitely a huge influence to her death, but it was like maybe like a piece of debris or something from the car, she inhaled or some it's a small object they showed me. So Spirit just said larynx, Larynx. I think that's a part of the throat. I'm not sure, but that's what they just said. So it's something with her demise. She didn't die on impact, okay? It's something with, and I don't know anything about her besides she passed away and she was one of the many princesses, okay? So I don't know if she died on scene on the scene when, the ambulance came, or if she died at the hospital. I'm not sure. But what they're allowing me to see is the car crash and something with her aspiration choking. So this just lets me know that she was hit. Obviously she was hit. It's the masculine energy that was with her. He died on impact, but she struggled a little bit. This just lets me know that she is strong, in the physical and in the spiritual as well. It's like she just always fought, always, spoke up for herself, always just fought. Okay, I think she's a strong woman. She's a strong woman. It's very interesting. And I'm going to make this a black thing real quick, but if she was a black woman, she would be labeled as, an angry black woman, the aggressor, the one that's always speaking up. Okay, that's exactly who she was. She just was white. Okay, all right, so that's just what they're allowing me to see and feel. Okay. Because I noticed a lot of times black women are labeled aggressive, and just there's always a problem with a black woman because she's speaking up. No, there's nothing wrong with speaking up. We're going to continue to speak up, okay? So then they had me write, and they allowed me to see from her being a toddler, like just always saying no, no, no. From her being a toddler all the way up into her demise, she was always rebellious. I wrote, was always rebellious, but being royal made her want to strike out even more. So the energy that she carried was, let's say someone told her to wash the dishes as she was on her way to do the dishes. Once you told her wash the dishes, even though she was already on her way to do the dishes, she's not doing the dishes just because. So I don't know if she's a Taurus, but it's just, or maybe she had Taurus in her sun, moon, or rising, sun, moon, and or rising, but just something with, you cannot tell me what to do. Okay, this is really interesting. Okay, so now they're showing me a vision of, I don't know who these people are. I'm gonna say maybe like I don't know the names to them. Okay, the managers of the royal. Okay, the under but overseers, the ones that go back and tell the boss everything. They're allowing me to see that as soon as she came into the castle, whatever it's called. Okay, please forgive my ignorance. I really don't know. I think it's called a castle. I don't know. But at the moment she stepped in the castle, they looked at her and said, yeah, she's going to be a problem. So they already knew something was going to go left with her, okay? Now, because of this, sorry, my foot is itchy. Because of this, they put my, I don't know how to explain this, but they showed me a vision of her in a maze. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, is there something that she has to figure out? What are you saying? Then he shows me her walking in this maze, but she has to overstep and be careful of mouse traps that just hurry up and pop out. So this lets me know that she, not only was set up, but there were booby traps, mental traps, physical traps to see if she's aware. Okay, it's kind of like, let's say your father is cheating on your mother, and you already know. It's something with your father is now suspicious of you knowing. So what he does is, he'll set up traps like, okay, I'm gonna put my phone right here. I'm gonna put a piece of invisible tape to see if my daughter or my son will move my phone, to see if they're gonna go through my phone. It's something with, they set traps up for her. This is very eerie, okay? I want to say something. Even though I am a psychic / physical medium, I get scared too. I'm still a, being having a human body experience. And there's a lot of times where, spirits tell me I'm not ready to know certain information because I will really crash out and be scared, okay? So that's all the messages that I wrote down for right now. And I'm going to look at her to see what else Spirit gives me. But she was always, there were always traps. But she was a woman of, like, having high discernment. There's a difference between intuition and discernment. Discernment to me is a more heightened intuition. I mean, she was just out of this world when it came to discernment, okay? But it was still her not caring. Not, I don't say not caring, but still her being who she is, which is, rebellious. Rebellious for a good cause, though. Now they're mentioning Prince Charles as I'm speaking right now, and they're showing me a vision of her giving water to. This is just how they're giving it to me, giving water to black babies, and his response is, "What do you care about them for?" Just very nasty energy, but I'm not surprised with that comment, if he's ever said that or felt that way, which I know he has, because Spirit is not going to give me something for no reason. But it's just like her looking at him. First of all, she would ignore him a lot, is what they're telling me, but it just feels like certain comments, she would just look at him with disgust, like just very, very, very disgusting. Now, I think this is just what they're giving me. I know it's no one's business, but their sex life was very okay, so they just said Prince Charles, whatever his name is, it was an egomaniac, and he was very meticulous with everything. But it comes, this is like a form of control. This is a form of controlling, a huge control. Hold on, they're saying something. Okay, I'm gonna say that. A huge control freak, even down to sex. Like he had to have it this way. Then after this position, it had to be that position. Diana was never satisfied sexually, is what they're allowing me to feel. It doesn't feel like he's ever caressed on her. I just seen a spirit in my peripheral. It doesn't feel like. Okay, what are you saying that for? Okay, they just said keep going. They interrupt me to say keep going. Fuck, what was I saying? It doesn't feel like he ever really caressed on her body. I mean, he never really liked her from the start, is what they're allowing me to feel. It was just a lot of tolerance, but it didn't even feel like he had tolerance. I feel like the relationship would have lasted longer if she was a yes woman, but she was never that, which caused, turmoil within the relationship. I want to say within 2 months, he was already cheating on her or something with looking at other women. Okay, this man is very interesting behavior. Okay, very interesting behavior. Very interesting behavior. Okay, so now I'm gonna look at her. Yes, there could have been some, I don't want to say could have been some sexual abuse and physical abuse. Sexual abuse in terms of, and this is sexual abuse, period, but in terms of, they're showing me, one night she really didn't want to have sex, and he kind of like, I don't want to say forced himself on her, but something with, he persuaded her, or he just kept harassing her until she was like, you know what, let's just have sex. That is sexual assault. If a woman or a man says no, no means no. And another thing, he always brought her down. I'm sorry. I know someone's going to correct me in the comments. But it's like, let's say she were to wear, let's say she picked or decided to wear a black dress. Like, why that dress, Or something with he body shamed her, which is very interesting because it wasn't. You know what it is? Like, I'm saying looking back as if I was there, but looking back energetically, a lot of times when men, when they bring a woman down, it would have me question, okay, do you even like women? Okay, but it just feels like he was controlled himself. So for someone to come in royalty and not really go by the rules, it had him, in a state of jealousy, okay? It's something with her confidence. Like, she honestly didn't give a fuck, it feels like, because they're showing me him belittling her, and she's like, fuck you, I look great in this dress. And that just triggered him even more, okay? There was cheating going on both ends. Not cheating is cheating, but gosh, I don't want to say, okay, let me not say cheating. He was definitely cheating on her, but it for her, it feels like when a man complimented her or flirted with her, she just blushed. Like, it wasn't really her like trying to stop him, like, hello, I'm married, okay? So maybe that's not cheating, I don't know. But anyways, sorry, my lashes. But anyways, let me keep staring at her. Yeah, so they just said murdered. I know, we know this though. Murdered. Well, a lot of people think it was just a car crash. No, they just said murdered. They showed me in big, fat, red letters, murdered. Murdered, and so a setup murdered. Okay, she was being followed. She was being followed. All right, so she was being followed, okay? And then they're taking me to the crime scene of the crash happening. And then that piece of debris of her inhaling or swallowing it. Okay, I do want to say I have a video about an energy transfer. It's called umbilical cord energy transfer, something like that. Whatever, and it talks about whatever your mother went through when you were in her stomach is a replica of what you're going through, or what you have went through, or what you will go through. Because if you pay attention to her rebellious soul, you know, her speaking up for herself, her, you know, standing up for women's rights, you know, her, you know, donating, being charitable, you know, being an advocate for people who don't have a voice, who don't have financial stability. Her son, one of her sons, Prince Harry, is doing just that. Okay, just like his mom. For example, another example, I'm sorry, because it's sometimes it's hard to talk and hear what they're saying. And I've been going through this for a long fucking time, and sometimes this is not about that. But what was I saying? My mom, when I was in her stomach, she was, you know, she was homeless. Years later, the same thing happened to me. How she handled her stress when I was in her stomach is exactly how I handle my stress. For example, and I'm not going to tell you how I handle my stress, but you know how some people pick their skin or bite their nails or bite their lips? Their parents could have done that, or the mother, specifically, the mother could have done that. Mental illness runs in the family. Like, not for me, I'm just saying, for example, if you ever wonder why you're mentally ill, there could be so many different factors. But just if you can, ask your mom if she's still alive. If you have a great relationship with her, ask her. Get a notebook and ask her, Mom, from A to Z, please tell me everything you went through when you were pregnant with me. Yeah, when you were pregnant with me. Down from your emotions, did you cry a lot? Were you happy? Were you under a lot of stress? You know, did you like, just ask her, because it's gonna it's gonna help you understand yourself a whole lot more. Okay, so it kind of feels like anything that's, so Spirit just said, gone too soon. So this just lets me know fate will always be fate, but this wasn't, how can I make this make sense? This was God ordained. If you look it up, the Akashic records, from the moment we're born till we die, everything's written. But Spirit just said man interference. Yeah, so this just lets me know, like, this was in her chart, but man was involved with her death. It really wasn't God. Like, I don't know. If you understand, you understand, okay? So anything that's cut off too soon, what happens next? It's energy, right? Energy does not die. So it has to go to the next thing. And what is happening right now? Where has that energy gone to? Her son, Prince Harry. Well, this was an interesting read. Spirit, do you have anything else to say before I go? Oh, so they're showing me a vision of her on the phone with some guy, or even down to her ordering breakfast on the phone. They said wiretap, tap wire. So in other words, people were listening to her conversations. She was watched, okay? Well, that's all that I have. Thank y'all so much for the support. It's $20 for a picture reading, $50 for a 30-minute reading, and $100 for an hour. Bye.